We begin with a weather impact alert. Get ready for the heat. It is 6 a.m. on this winter day in March.
Right.
I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Netta Iromp. We're not going to feel winter-like at all. We have team coverage for you today. News 8's Tori Apodaca with some safety reminders. We're going to check with Tori in just a few minutes, but first, let's start off with meteorologist Evan Narani. Okay, lay it out for us. How hot here?
I mean, I think the beaches are going to be a great place to be for the next couple of days. And in particular, the next about week or so is going to likely be above average for almost every day. But today and tomorrow are the hottest days that we see for now. Upper 70s, low 80s out by our beaches today, low to mid 90s as we look inland for the afternoon, 82 for the mountains and 94 for our local deserts. A heat advisory spans the entirety of the coastline from central California down through southern California. We in San Diego have it spanning our coastline and inland valleys. As offshore Santa Ana winds make a return, they'll be pretty weak for today and tomorrow, die down by Saturday and Sunday, and then likely pick back up by early next week. As always, you can find an extended weather forecast on our CBS 8 app. You can stream now for free and get all the updates there. But we'll be going into more detail and looking at that 7-day forecast in just a bit as to how hot the next week as a whole will be. Vanessa Paz is checking in on how our road conditions are on this Thursday, hot Thursday. But now is the time to get out there and get the comfortable stretch in.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, again, right now you're giving the ACs a break, maybe letting in some of that cooler air because it is quite comfortable, and you likely don't need the AC as you get in your car this morning. All right, we are tracking a crash, a troubled area on the 15 South right at Old Highway 395. This could set you back a little bit if you're making your way in from Bonsall, maybe Temecula, or even Fallbrook headed southbound right at Old Highway 395. Let's go ahead and switch gears and see what's happening across our freeways as we take a live look at some of the cameras here. This is the drive as you make your way towards Kearney Mesa in from Mission Valley on the 805 at the 163. Meanwhile, this is that drive as you make your way towards Tierra Santa headed in from Santee. Average speed is about 71 miles per hour. So coming up in about 6 minutes or so, we'll take a look at what those Thursday travel times have in store for you. Back to you guys.
This morning, we are learning about a warning issued by the FBI that Iran could possibly launch a retaliatory drone attack here on the West Coast.
We're going to send it over to News 8's Chris Groh live downtown to tell us how law enforcement and the military are now responding. Chris, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. And let's go through what we know, the intelligence, when it was received, and what we are hearing from local and state leaders. So the FBI first got this intelligence about a month ago. So that was before Operation Epic Fury, but they sent it out just last week because of obviously the implications of a retaliatory strike after the U.S. and Israel have bombed multiple sites there in Iran. Now, according to CBS News, law enforcement and security officials, they are saying there is no immediate specific threat behind the warning. The memo says that Iran had the idea to conduct a surprise attack using drones from an unidentified vessel off the coast against, quote, unspecified targets in California. A number of military bases here in our area are on high alert already. Ken Pendleton confirmed they received the warning. Governor Gavin Newsom addressed the memo yesterday, saying that his office has been working with local law enforcement partners and they are not aware of any imminent threats, but they are prepared. We spoke with a local security expert, Sean Van Diver, founder of the San Diego chapter of the Truman National Security Project, about this. Here's what he told us, as well as what we heard from Governor Gavin Newsom.
We are aware of that information, and we transfer that information in real time to our local partners. Drone issues have been always top of mind.
This is not a surprise, right? Of course, foreign state actors who we are at war with would think it a good idea to try to leverage asymmetric warfare to sow fear, to harm morale, to take the fight to our shores.
Now, the memo also included information and intelligence that Mexican cartels might be targeting U.S. law enforcement and federal law enforcement across the U.S.-Mexico border. But that is something that Van Dive, who you just heard from there again, Van Diver, threw cold water on and said there have been talks about that for years and very little violence has occurred and nothing like those type of attacks has ever occurred. Back to you in studio.
Chris, thank you very much. Coming up here at 6:30, we're going to have more on how authorities are preparing for the Oscars amid that FBI warning. Meantime, Iran's president just laid out 3 demands to end the war. They include recognizing what he called Iran's legitimate rights, payment of reparations, and firm international guarantees against future aggression. This comes as President Trump says the war has, quote, already been won.
You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over.
This morning, we have new details about Iran's retaliatory strike in Kuwait that killed 6 U.S. service members. CBS News has learned more than 60 U.S. troops were injured and about 30 remain hospitalized as of Tuesday with brain injuries and shrapnel wounds. Meantime, the U.S. will release 172 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That's to help tame rising prices. Gas prices did jump 4 cents again overnight. So according to AAA, here's the average price in San Diego, now $5.40. That's for a gallon of regular. And this morning, county officials urging San Diegans to take precautions. We're about to deal with some extreme heat.
News 8's Tori Apodaca live at Coles Mountain with some important reminders for folks out there. Tori?
Yeah, kind of wild that we're talking about heat, and we are still technically in winter. But there are already several people that are starting their morning right out here, hitting the trails. But if you are going to be braving the heat later in the day, you definitely want to go in with a plan. Here are some of those reminders as you're heading out the door this morning. You're going to want to bring plenty of water, pack healthy snacks, and of course wear sun protection, whether that be a hat and sunglasses and good hiking boots. The goal, of course, is to avoid any heat-related illness and to stay safe. So what signs can you look out for? Well, it usually starts with heat cramps in the legs or abdomen with heavy sweating, and then it could lead to heat exhaustion. Here are some of those symptoms like heavy sweating, a fast and weak pulse, dizziness or fainting. And once you notice any of these, you'll want to get medical attention if you start to vomit or those symptoms last longer than an hour. Meanwhile, heat stroke can take over your body even more intensely, and you can see a difference in some of those symptoms like a throbbing headache, slurred speech, body temperature above 103 degrees, rapid and strong pulse, fainting, and a loss of consciousness. In that case, you will want to call 911 immediately. And unfortunately, when it is so hot out here, we do sometimes see some rescues, so you don't want to end up with that being you. So definitely just be safe as you're heading out the door this morning, and especially once the sun is at its peak during the daytime. Reporting from Coles Mountain, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
And the county's Cool Zone program doesn't begin until June, but officials say you can cool off at county libraries with free air conditioning. Most of the county libraries open at 10 a.m. today. So here we are, talking about cool zones
Here we are.
winter.
In March.
Couple days left.
Early March. We haven't even hit the equinox yet. So
Yeah.
it's not technically spring. The
Right.
spring equinox has not arrived yet. Still a week out. And with it, we're not even talking about spring-like conditions. We're talking about summer-like conditions because temperatures could be in the 80s by the coast, the 90s inland. Take a look at the heat advisory that's in effect from our coast to our inland valleys. It will likely cover our mountains and deserts going into next week as they're going to wait a bit to see their hottest temperatures. But the 90s will be back across the mountains by early next week, as will the triple-digit heat toward our local deserts. Right. We don't have much trouble in terms of visibility. A weak offshore component, so offshore winds, are helping to keep those clouds off the coast. But as we go into Saturday and Sunday, as temperatures slide, we'll also watch as onshore flow resumes and as we incorporate a bit more cloud cover by the water. We're at 54 right now in Encinitas, 50 in Mira Mesa, 50 in El Cajon, 58 in Chula Vista and La Mesa. Now is the time to get out and enjoy the much more mild stretch of weather that we have. We know a lot of people try to get the walk or the run in early in the morning. Remember, now that we have a later sunrise, closer to about 7:15, you at least have that extra time in the morning stretch before temperatures begin to warm up more dramatically. Ramona is one spot where we're looking at the likelihood of making it to about 90 degrees. If it happens, it would probably be between about, I'd say 1 and 3 p.m. seems to be the best window. Plenty of sunshine across the county, and they're not the only spot expected to hit the 90s. La Mesa 91, Santee, El Cajon 94 degrees this afternoon. 80s out by the beach in Coronado and downtown San Diego. Carlsbad and Oceanside going for the mid 80s. 93 in Escondido, 92 in RB, and 91 in Ramona for that forecast high. Going to be a hot one, and just keeping it going, Vanessa, all the way through early next week. It looks like there's not much of an end in sight.
These are one of those days where you won't find me outside, okay? You will find me inside. 6:10 is the time. Let's go ahead and see what's happening on our freeways. Hopefully you don't have to use AC quite yet. 15 south at Old Highway 395. Look out for a crash. It may slow things down for you as you pass the 76 headed towards Hidden Meadows this morning. Let's go ahead and give you a live look outside, a tour around town as we zoom on into the 805 right at Home Avenue. This is that stretch as you make your way in from Chula Vista, headed northbound towards North Park, 61-mile-per-hour speed. So overall, we're still at steady speeds in pretty good shape. Meanwhile, this is the 8 coming in from La Mesa, the Grossmont Center area. As you make your way towards College, we can actually see that things are starting to pick up, but nothing significant in terms of slowing quite yet. And this is the 15. This is that drive south as you make your way out of Escondido, headed southbound towards Rancho Penasquitos and Rancho Bernardo. About a 10-minute ride if you're headed southbound in from Oceanside and Escondido this morning. Average speeds about 68, 75 miles per hour. So here's what it looks like if you're traveling in from the East County, headed west, about 3 to 7 minutes. In really good shape on the 94, the 8, as well as the 52. And here are those drives coming in from the South Bay north, 10 to 15 on the 805, and the 5 that's coming in from San Isidro. That's that drive in from the mile of cars headed towards the Point Loma and OB area. And then it's, again, we usually see road work wrap up near the old toll booths as you pass as you head towards Coronado in from downtown, about 13 minutes out last check, and speeds down to about 10 miles per hour or so. All right, it is 6:11. Let's go ahead and switch gears and see what those travel times look like. About an hour 30 to get you across from San Isidro's port of entry, and about 45, a little bit better, to get you in from Otay Mesa's port of entry at last check.